All right, family. We live with the general. You already know what time it is. We got that fire today. We're talking about Tuskegee University and the new dress code that they got. They're enforcing this year. I think it's this year. They're going to enforce it, and a lot of people they up in arms. I don't know why. They up in arms, and so we're gonna talk about it now. And so, my understanding, they emphasizing a professional dress and conduct. You see, Tuskegee University recently announced updated student expectations that emphasize professional dress and conduct. They say arrive on campus with a business suit and shoes appropriate for a business meeting. So what they saying? You got to wear a damn a suit all the time. You see, not wearing bonnets or do rags in classroom or the cafeteria. So they trying to shut down wear the bonnets or do rag in classrooms or the cafeteria. Do y'all see something wrong with that? I mean, you the thing is you got to play the role. You know, You got to play the role one way or another. When you get ready to get a job, unless and even if you do, even if you do, I believe you got to play the role. And when I mean play, not necessarily for just for the society as a whole, but when you trying to when you trying to get into knowledge, and you trying to get into professionalism. I ain't saying you got to be no Neanderthal, but you got to leave some of that, your pants sagging, your nigga coming to school with house shoes on. You ain't at the house. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't, you know, because some of that shit need to be addressed. It should have been addressed at the house, but the school had to address it. Shit, my mama, when I used to leave out there, my mom used to check to see if we was together, all the time. Plus, we had uniforms anyway. You couldn't dare show up to the schools we was going to, you know, motherfucker, you wouldn't even get through the door. You know what I'm saying? You had to wear a goddamn uniform all the way even up to high school. You had to wear a goddamn uniform. So you couldn't just wear, and then they had days where but you couldn't wear no damn house shoes and no do rags. They didn't let you wear do rags in the class. You had to take that shit off. You know, you had to take that shit off. And a lot of times they didn't even let you wear gym shoes. You had to have regular shoes on. And so, yeah, certain settings, people want to see a certain level of professionalism, regardless. You ain't got to be no Neanderthal. You could be fresh. You can get some shit that's got black culture, but it's business. It's professional. You know, I used to be business casual when I was in doing the school. When I was working at Northern, I would be business casual. I would be fresh though. I wasn't coming sideways, you see. I made sure I had me some fresh shit, but I wasn't coming in. And even if I had on some blue jeans, I had me some sweet ass, some shoes on. You feel what I'm saying? Whatever it was, nigga, I went downtown, got me some shit. You know what I'm saying? So my shit, I was tight. We got to come up out of that. Where you can't dress y'all. You do they let y'all go up into church? Do y'all go to church with house shoes on? And man, them old ladies will pull your ass aside, man, and say something to you. It's all good if you at the crib. It's all good if you're in the hood. It's all good if that's what you want to do and you ain't in the hood. And I don't see no problem with it there. But it's a time and a place for everything. It's a time and a place for everything. Yes, yeah. It's a time and a place for everything. But you ain't gonna go to church with no damn bonnet on or no do rag or you know what I'm saying or things of that. And you can't do that, and you ain't gonna get no job where they're gonna let you wear a do rag or a bonnet on the job. They're not gonna let you do that. A professional job, they're gonna let y'all walk around like that. So it's nothing wrong with it. It's just a time and a place for everything. You know what I'm saying? It's a time and a place for everything. See, when I was in school, I couldn't dress like them, because you had to in levels, you had to raise up. If you walking around, you got on the same, you got on gym shoes and shit like what they got on, they think you one of them, So you had to show a level that you levels above them in professionalism. In most places they're not gonna let you work with that shit on. They're just not. So you have to find a way to goddamn, understand there's a time and a place for everything. Some people just think they could do what the fuck they want to do. They think they could do whatever the fuck they want to do when they want to, and they wonder why they ass can't get no motherfucking job. Because you don't run the motherfucking job. You know what I'm saying? Now, unless and even if you own your own business, you know what I'm saying? Even if you own your own, you could do that if you want to. You could do that. You could do that. But I think once you enter the professional field, even with your own people, you want to have a certain level of professionalism where you leave the street shit alone. And that's what's wrong with niggas. They don't want to leave the street shit alone. They don't. They don't want to leave the street shit alone. They think they could take the street shit, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you go into McDonald's and shit, you ain't gonna hear NWA at Wendy's unless you in one hell of a hood ass, and you come on, nigga, and you come into goddamn Wendy's and goddamn, and they got fuck the police. Fuck the police. No, they're gonna have some jazz or some shit on in the goddamn Wendy's. You can't come in that motherfucker playing Master P and goddamn Too Short and goddamn Wendy's and McDonald's. But some of you niggas think you could do it. You think you could do it. You see, you think you can goddamn do it, and that's why your ass. And it don't matter white, black. Most people want a certain level where they can come in, get their shit, and have some general professionalism. Some jazz or some shit like that. They don't want to hear all that crazy shit. They in there to get a goddamn hamburger or three piece and a biscuit, and you in there, and that's what's wrong with us. That's what's wrong. And you could tell businesses that's run like that. Motherfucker don't even mop the floor. Motherfucker, you find the goddamn garbage cans is full. You know what I'm saying? And if the niggas in the motherfucker is ghetto, then they friends come up. They all in the goddamn, around the business and shit and this, that, and the third. Yeah. If you got them motherfuckers out in the parking lot, nigga, making moves and shit and this, that. Yeah, you get all of that. So yeah, it is time for niggas to come out and when you want to, and I did that, come home, nigga, I jump right in my hood shit. You know what I'm saying? I jump right in my hood shit. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with it. It's not nothing wrong with it. It's just a place for it. And so yeah, is we succeeding in the professional world like we need to be succeeding. And I ain't saying going to work, but motherfucker, you going to school. If you going to school, you either going to open up your own business, but the majority of motherfuckers that's going to school is majoring in something where they're going to have to fill out a goddamn application, which means you're going to have to go and sit down and interview with them. And y'all don't want a motherfucker to tell you that. You ain't got to do it. You can open up your own business. That's the best motherfucking thing you could do. But it's a lot of black people that got degrees, which means you're gonna have to sit down. And how do you show up to an interview with a do-rag on, with a bonnet on, with house shoes? Nigga, you come in there with what they call them, what they call them, what they call them, goddamn shoe, motherfucker wear the nursing shoes. That was the worst shit they ever invented. Everybody and their mama wear goddamn nursing shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. You go to an interview with that shit. Some people that can't snap out of it. You know what I'm saying? They do it wherever the fuck they go. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, I thought it was about, keeping your hair together. But once you wake up, you know what I'm saying, and you go out in the world, shit, it's time to take it off. If you ain't got, you know what I'm saying? Now people just, I don't know. I thought when you want your shit to come out. You know what I'm saying? When I wear my do-rag and shit, but when it get ready to hit the street, you take your shit off. You want your waves. You want people to see the wave. When the shit ain't laying down no more, you put it back on. That's understandable, but you know, but I think that the university is a place that people should, yeah, start to, get familiar with professionalism. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's not, white or nigga, that's black. That's what's wrong with us. We always want to shortchange black people like we ain't professional. We don't expect a certain level of professionalism. We don't want a motherfucker coming out with our food and they pants hanging down and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Not that fucking all. But that's that's where we done got to the point where we don't the shit you supposed to take that shit off when you get ready to go out in public. You know? You supposed to take it off. You supposed to take it off and come on out and be who you supposed to be. Too many of us ain't and we can't leave the streets behind. We can't. We want to be a nigga everywhere we go. And that's cool. If that's what but don't wonder why ain't no motherfucker calling your ass back. Okay, you could do whatever the fuck you want. Wear your shit. Wear it, motherfucker. Wear it to the interview. Wear it, nigga. And don't wonder why ain't nobody calling your black ass. Don't wonder why. You see? Don't wonder even if you got a degree. Please don't if you can't show up with it at an interview, don't you know what it means. That means certain level of professionalism. Uh uh uh, you know, you got to leave that shit at the crib. Yes. Do not wear hell no. You don't wear no damn yeah. And I believe the school should be an extension of the workplace. If you're gonna be a professor, you're gonna be a teacher, you're gonna be a doctor, you're gonna be a lawyer, and all of that. You might as well start preparing for that right now. So when you step in there, and then it changes you. It changes you when you come in there looking like if you're in the hood and you want to be thugmatic, nigga. That's all right. You want to put on your gym shoe. You supposed to be able to do that. You supposed to be able to do. Yeah, when you in the hood, nah, nigga, it's all good in the hood. But when you goddamn getting ready and you going in there and you trying to be a botanist and you trying to be a biologist and you trying to be a chemist and you trying to be somebody in the medical field, you understand what I'm saying? Or a lawyer, or whatever professional job that come up out of there, you got to be already working your mind into what professionalism is. So it ain't that hard. When you get up, you're already ready. You know, it's just like Superman. You go in the motherfucking telephone booth, you ready to take that shit off. I couldn't wait to get home and take that shit off. I didn't. I mean, I liked it, but when I got I was ready to take that shit off. And I jumped back in my street shit. You know what I'm saying? But you got to know is a time and they saying follow a new cell phone ban in classrooms. People ain't ready to give up that phone. Y'all in there looking at the phone. You know, yeah, I understand people, but see, once that phone is like a motherfucking organ now. You know what I'm saying? I can understand if you was using AI and you was looking up some shit. You know what I'm saying? But I think you could do that on a tablet. You could do that on a tablet or computer and shit. Y'all being there on the phone texting and shit, and you ain't paying a motherfucking attention and shit. And, you know, you ain't paying attention. You're on the phone and all of that. And I mean, it is what it is. You know, comply with the university's mandatory attendance policy. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? Not wear revealing clothing in class, the cafeteria, or official university events such as convocation, follow a new cell phone, comply with the university's mandatory attendance policy. What do y'all think out there, family? What do you think? What do you think out there, man? Let me see. You say Google and test question. Ray, you crazy in the motherfucker. You know during the class, you do anytime you take a test, they gonna let you know, nigga, you can't have no fun. It don't make no difference what the during that time, then you ain't gonna have no phone during no test. Yeah, yeah. You already know that. So, but you know, I don't know. You know, I don't know. I guess you can have the tablet or whatever or the computer. I think you can, but they want you to let that go. That phone. They want you to let that. Yeah. You say you. I tuck my shirt in at work. Yeah. Well, I don't think they saying. You know, a bonnet. I don't think. I don't think it's about your hair. If they're not, if they going in how you know, if they talking about locks and all of that shit, then they on some bullshit. I don't think it because you know peoples ain't gonna give up their hair. Now I ain't saying change nothing about your physical being. You know we ain't talking about what's good, family. We ain't talking about changing nothing like that. Fuck them. You know when it come to that, you know, long as you keep your shit looking good, that's all that matter. You feel what I'm saying? But anyway, family, I want y'all to click that link, a Patreon link. Make sure y'all like the video, share it with your family and friends. And General Seti, Etsy one stop, kingseti.com. Make sure y'all get over there, family, support the general. And make sure you, like I say, make sure y'all get a video a thumbs up, like it because you love it, share with your family and friends, and I'll be black. Black Power.